Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to be looking at the 5 cities in Orange County with the lowest demand. We'll take a look at exactly what is causing this issue, take a look at some historical data, see where they could be going, if this is just a temporary thing or if it's going to be a prolonged issue with these 5 cities. If you're new to the channel, my name is Ian Phillips. I'm a realtor in Orange County, and I'm actually very excited to announce the launch of this new platform that I have been developing over the last 3 months or so. It's called themarketvector.com. And essentially this is going to track every single set of data you can think of across 192-ish cities in Southern California, in Los Angeles County, Orange County, San Bernardino County, Riverside County, as well as San Diego County. Basically, I wanted to develop a website that has everything on it, including investor metrics, every data you can think of with active listings, percent of listings with a price reduction, percent of cash purchases, foreclosures. Everything is going to be tracked here, as well as odds of interest rate cuts, mortgage rates. There is a report section, so if you don't want to browse this, you can just get a monthly report sent to you on the 15th of every month. So check this out in the description below. There's a bunch of free information there as well. And let's get straight into the video. So on the map, you can see this is immediately showing you high demand, balance, low demand markets across Southern California. Today, we're going to be focusing on Orange County and seeing what the lowest demand markets are currently. Now, right away, you can see that it's probably going to be Irvine, Newport Beach, maybe Laguna Beach, but we'll see for sure which cities they are. But you can see Newport Beach, Irvine, Laguna Beach, those are bright red, meaning demand is probably relatively low there. So let's go to the search page, take a look at Orange County, and this will pull up everything in Orange County as well as the cities that have the least activity. So we can see Newport Beach currently is the least active market in the entire county. And median home value is a little under $3.3 million, down almost 14% year over year, quite a substantial drop. Active listings, 302 homes on the market. Demand has dropped year over year as well. Days on market has increased 24% year over year. So this all correlates. Median values down, pending sales are down, days on market is up. Understandably so, it makes a lot of sense. Now, if you take a look at the market health section, Newport Beach is obviously one of the wealthiest areas in all of California. And a lot of people do buy cash here. So cash purchases being over 36% of the market doesn't really surprise me, in all honesty, because a lot of people have very large stock portfolios that they sell in order to buy the 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, $25 million homes in Newport Beach. So this doesn't really surprise me, and this is quite high for any area, really. 25% of all homes are having a price reduction. Demand rate is a little under 20%. This means that on average, if 100 homes hit the market, 18% of those are going to be purchased. That's pretty much what this tells you. Month supply of inventory is right now a balanced market. This basically means that if no homes hit the market for the next 5.6 months, there would be nothing available. 5.6 is a balanced market. Anything under 3, maybe 4 is pretty much a seller's market. And anything over 7, 8 starts to be more of a deeper buyer's market where buyers are kind of in full control. Investor purchases, 38%. Again, this is pretty high, but as expected, people are buying second, third, fourth homes in Newport Beach because they see the long-term value. They want to own coastal real estate in California, and this has become a hotspot for a lot of wealthy individuals. So if we take a look at school performance, it's pretty good, 8 out of 10. Violent crime rate, moderate, again, pretty low considering national averages. Foreclosures, there's only one. There's nothing else to expect. I would honestly expect 0. But something cool you can do is compare what's happening in Newport Beach compared to the county-wide stats or to another city. And we can see the median sales price in Orange County is actually up 8% year over year compared to Newport Beach, which is down 13.6% year over year. Active listings are also down. Demand is also down, probably because active listings are down as well. Days on market in Orange County has increased slightly, but not too much. Now, if we get to the market health section, we can see cash purchases in Newport Beach are actually a much larger percentage. And this doesn't really surprise me because, like I mentioned, the amount of wealth that is in this city, a lot of people are buying cash. Orange County, almost 28% of homes are having a price reduction. Demand rate is 35%. So this is the two metrics that are pretty different. Demand rate being basically double what it is in Newport Beach for Orange County is very, very significant. Investor purchases, again, Newport Beach, a lot of people are buying second, third, and fourth homes here, so that would make sense. Foreclosures, 29 homes in foreclosure, bank owned, very low, 0.5% of total active listings. So that's Newport Beach, and the other cities that were in very low demand are Laguna Beach. So very interesting that coastal cities are actually seeing markets drop quite substantially. So let's see what's happening in Laguna Beach. Median sale price hasn't really done a whole lot. Active listings are actually down 31% year over year. Demand is also down quite substantially. Days on market is up 75% year over year. This is definitely worth taking a look at some historical data to see what's going on over here. Cash purchases, 45% of this market is being purchased in cash. 35% of this market is having a price reduction. Wow, this is very, very interesting. 35% of a market having a price drop with the demand rate only 19%. Let's see what's happening with investor pressure. So this is another interesting metric. So this basically means that roughly 1.67 investors are buying versus selling. So 67% more investors are buying compared to the investors that are selling. Great school performance, violent crime rate, very low, property crime rate, moderate. So briefly, I do want to take a look at some historical data. So we'll take a look at Laguna Beach. I want to take a look at that days on market and see what is happening because that big of a jump is quite interesting. So let's take a look at the 10-year chart. So this is actually curling up into the end of the year, into the summer part of the year. And if we take a look at it historically, it's not really that surprising. You can see last year, May 2025, days on market was 41. It went to 61 in June, 77 in July, and then 97 in August. So this is probably following that same trend that we saw last year. If we go all and then do a 3-month rolling average, 6-month rolling average to kind of smooth it out a little, you can see days on market has really been increasing on average since September of 2022. Remember, this is what we saw pre-pandemic, pre-COVID era, where days on market was actually on average significantly higher than it is now. You can see in 2013, 2015, 2017, it was basically taking 110 days for homes to get into escrow. So we might just be trending back to more of this normal market. This era that we saw here, 40 days for a market like Laguna Beach, where remember the median sales price, get rid of the 6-month average, is $3.13 million. So 40 days for that kind of market to get into escrow is very, very fast. So I think we're probably just trending back to more of a normal market where days on market is probably going to get closer to 100 and kind of just sit there. That is very normal for a market where the median home value is $3 million. But if you're interested, you can check out the link in the description below. Go over this a little more for yourself. If I went over every metric, this would be an hour-long video. So let's go back to some of the lower demand markets. I did say this list actually surprises me because Irvine was one of the hottest markets in the country in 2024, and things have changed a little bit here. You can see median sales price is down very moderately, 1.4% year over year. Active listings are down a little bit. Demand is down quite a lot compared to year over year. Days on market is up slightly. Some of the investor metrics, we can see 32% of this market is purchased in cash. Month supply of inventory in that balanced section. Investor purchases are a relatively low percentage of this market. So if we take a look at investor purchases for Irvine and kind of see what's been happening over the last few years, this is actually down substantially since the beginning of the year. So 20% of investors purchased homes in January and only 11% in the most recent data that we have for the month of April. So that is a pretty substantial drop and still substantially higher compared to the last few years in 2024, 2023, 2022, and 2021. So Irvine is still seeing more investors than the last few years, but a decent drop since the beginning of the year. So if we take a look at some of the other cities with low demand, Santa Ana is one of them as well. Let's see what's happening in this market. So median sales price is actually up 9% year over year. Pending sales is down. Active listings up slightly. Days on market up 32%. Pretty substantial. Market health, 23% of purchases are with cash in this market. I have noticed Santa Ana, as someone who lives in Orange County, more of a popular spot for some rental properties. So investor purchases are around 16% of the total market. Month supply, sort of teetering between that balanced and seller's market territory. Demand rate, 26%. So 26% of the homes that hit the market are being purchased. Distressed inventory, 3 foreclosures, 1.2% of total listings. Again, not that high. Now, Santa Ana, this is kind of where it differentiates a little bit between Orange County as a whole. School performance is 4 out of 10. Violent crime rate is a little higher than average. Property crime rate is a little higher. But again, these are both relatively moderate statistics when we talk about nationwide averages. I just want to see what's been happening historically a little bit. So the median sales price has actually been increasing, but a potential issue I see is active listings are curling up into the end of the year. Now, more often than not, you will actually see active listings declining into the end of the year. But another thing we could check is homes sold. And this looks like it might be dropping. And days on market looks like it's curling up a little bit. So Santa Ana is listed as one of the lower activity markets in Orange County right now. And it kind of seems like prices might be plateauing a little bit, at least into the end of the year. We're seeing days on market increase, numbers of homes sold declining, demand rate is declining a little bit, meaning the percentage of homes on the market being purchased are declining. And let's take a look at price cuts. So over the last 5 years, price cuts aren't really doing too much. I mean, it has increased a little bit since February of last year. 27% of homes are having their prices dropped. Month supply of inventory is curling up a little bit as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if prices in Santa Ana actually drop into the second half of this year, considering all of these other metrics are implying a slower market. Let's take a look at Orange County again, and the last market, Rancho Santa Margarita. Now, you might be thinking, why is the median sales price up 20% year over year if this is a low demand market? And one of the primary reasons is because Rancho Santa Margarita in 2025 was rated the safest city in the entire state of California to live. And as a result, it saw a huge surge in demand. Active listings are down a little bit. Days on market is down a little bit. Homes sold, pending sales are also down quite substantially. Cash purchases, only 9% of this market is being purchased in cash. That's very interesting compared to the other ones, which were substantially higher. So this probably tells me that you're seeing more families, more younger families, maybe looking to start a family, getting into this market because the schools are amazing. 10 out of 10, violent crime rate extremely low, property crime rate extremely low, no foreclosures. So this is probably, in fact, I know this is a city where a lot of families are looking to move. And when we saw that safety rating skyrocket, you can see Rancho Santa Margarita home values did also go up. Look, August 2025, $950,000 for the median home value, now 1.2 million. And this, even in February 2025, it was a little over a million. January, 925,000. Let's take a look at a 6-month average just to kind of see the trend a little more clearly. And yeah, since May of 2025, home values have increased quite substantially in Rancho Santa Margarita. Again, Orange County, once you get cities that are highly rated to raise families, you start to see demand increasing there. So this is, in my opinion, a temporary blip in the data, labeling it as a low demand market, because I do think this is going to continue to see demand into 2026, in my opinion. But we did have prices surging from $1 million to now $1.2 million. So wouldn't surprise me if we saw a temporary slowdown in this market, because a 20% drop, 20% raise, 20% increase year over year is quite substantial and abnormal. So that's probably why right now we're seeing low activity in this market, because the demand surge was in 2025. But that's kind of it for this video, the 5 least active markets in Orange County. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, check out themarketvector.com. This is a platform that I have developed over the last 3 months. There will be some more upgrades coming to it in the future, some more tweaks, and I'm constantly going to be importing data that gives everyone a clear picture of what's happening. Thanks for watching the video, subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time.